Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Soccer Edition. This is your host, Mitch. I'm here as always with Matheus. Hi, Matheus. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Busy weekend. Several deadlines. Survived it all, kind of, for the most part.
We're recording on a Wednesday because you're a fucking student still. Also, here's Emily. Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a busy weekend too. You know, Matheus, other people have lives as well. So my mom was in town. So it was a good time.
Your mom was in town enough to where you didn't realize that the Miami trouncing that happened this week happened to your team.
That's right.
All right,
I was watching soccer on a delay.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's just get right into it. Let's get into NWSL for this weekend, and we're going to start off with Seattle 2, Wave 1. And how the fuck did San Diego lose this fucking game? They should get relegated for losing this game. Like, I know NWSL is trying to expand the league. They should lose their fucking team. Like, this is unbelievable. This is unacceptable. How are you losing this game? They were up 10 men in the 8th minute and up 1-0, and they lost. Emily, what the fuck?
This is a question for Casey Stoney. What are you doing, babe? What's going on? They literally went up. They went up to what player up within, it was within the first 10 minutes. Literally score right afterwards. They're in charge. But honestly, after that, it seemed like the Reign, like, they were braver in attack. They didn't, like, sit back and try to counter. Like, they seemed like the ones who were more likely to score after that, and they did. There were some playing out of the back issues this weekend, and Kaitlyn Sheridan was the first to, have this happen. Bethany Balcer pounced on it, and I think the thing here with the Reign, they came into this game on a 5-game losing streak. So I think for them, there was like a lot of like passion and release going on. You could see in the celebration with Bethany Balcer, like that they were like at bottom. they needed these 3 points. And I think this was like fueling them a lot. And I joked about it last week, like, ha ha ha, Casey Stoney's not possibly going to leave Jaden Shaw on the bench again. But there she was. I mean, they had the attacking resources available to them on the bench with both Maria Sanchez and Jaden Shaw. And I mean, they got in the second half, but like, I know maybe Sanchez needs a little bit of time to acclimate to them, but I'm just like, if you throw them all out there, attack, you would have come out with a win here instead of a loss at the death. Ugh.
Yeah, and I guess that is important context of the Reign losing 5 straight going into this game, because that kind of gives you the freedom to go for it in a game where you're down to 10 men really, really early. Because it's like, well, we've lost 5 straight games, and we're down 1-0, and we're down a player. I guess we've just got to go for it. Like, you've just got to kind of be more brave and kind of like, well, we've got nothing to lose because what's going to happen? We're going to lose a 6th straight game. Like, let's go for it. And if anything, if you're San Diego, you're kind of not expecting that. As soon as you go down, like a team goes down a player, you're kind of expecting to have control of the game. And to be fair, they did. But you're not expecting a team like Seattle to go at them as hard as they did and then eventually get it off a corner late in this game. But, I mean, really great win from Seattle. But, Matheus, did you have something?
Yeah, like I didn't watch this game, but I'm just looking at the stat sheet here for the first half. Like, Seattle loses a player early. They score, though. You go into halftime 1-1, and if you're the Wave, you only have 2 shots on target in the first half. That's like alarm bells to me. That's Casey Stoney should be trying something at halftime to me. I know she put Jaden Shaw on, like she obviously fucking should have. But I feel like there should have been a bigger. I feel like response. you gotta see the context of the game, look at the stat sheet, and be like, something's wrong. Even though we're like tied or whatever, and like we have an advantage still, like this is not going well. And change something more aggressively earlier. Put Maria Sanchez on at halftime. Like that can't hurt, right?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the more sauce you have as a player, like Casey Stoney is like, no, we can't have that.
Just like true, like boring, like Brexit manager brought to NWSL. Like this is what the league needed. This is how we get to the big time. Although if that is the case, that sucks because there's so many fun players on that Wave team.
Yeah. I mean, also more context, I guess, if the people want it. But Alex Morgan wasn't in, Naomi Girma wasn't in, Abby Dahlkemper, Sophia Jakobsen, all out for this game. So
yeah, I mean, and San Diego also got a red card late in this game after it was already 2-1.
It was really weird. Both of these instances
hitting people in the face. Like, what's going on?
I think the first one, like, you see it happen live and you're like, ugh, but then you see it again and again, and it is, like, clear. I don't think she intended to, hit her in the face. She was just trying to, like, Lundqvist grabbed Zierke's arm, and she was just trying to, like, get her off, but it hit her in the face. I think the second one, they were like, I guess we have to do that because it's kind of a swinging motion, and we already gave someone a red card for hitting someone in the face, but it was much less clear to me.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, let's move on now to, and I'm just going to let you cook about Gotham, because you guys won 1-0 this weekend against North Carolina. Are Gotham back? Are they back on track? It's 2 straight wins now.
I think it's not 2 straight wins.
Oh, I was thinking last week was the Lavelle. Oh, it was a draw. That's right. Draw. That's right.
So, 1 win.
Yeah.
I think this is a step forward. I was not able to watch it live. I watched it on record, so I was like literally in a movie checking my phone the entire time because I was with my mother. And I was just like,
unbelievable.
Yes.
You're a bad movie goer.
Your moms have season tickets?
I have season tickets. My mom did not want to go. It's okay, guys. She's only in New York maybe once a year. She didn't want to go.
And you didn't want to take her to New Jersey?
Did you go to a Broadway show?
We did. Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Anyway, when I was watching it, I had heard from other people like, oh yeah, the first half was good. Second half, it was really like chaotic. It was kind of dicey. I thought it was a really good performance from us. Obviously, only 1 goal. But the attack looked much better. The press looked really good to me. They started Ella Stevens, and I think she did really well. Like, that front 5 was really able to interchange and combine. They do still need to, like, edit themselves in the box, like too many touches still, or maybe 1 too many passes. If I were Juan Carlos Amorós, I would be like, any training time we have, I would just be doing like those final third scenarios over and over again just to get reps and just to get people confident. I need Yasmin Ryan and Delaney Sheehan like putting in shooting practice because they get in really good positions, and if both of them were able to contribute just a few goals, that would go a long way. But yeah, I just think it's the confidence, familiarity. We'll see when Roosevelt might start a game. They're playing right now. So I think maybe this weekend, maybe it's her chance to start. We'll see. Do
you know what the score is in the Gotham game right now that's happening as we're recording?
I mean, they just kicked off, so.
It is 1-0 Gotham.
It's 1-0. Let's go! I had no idea.
That is a live, like, that is a, just, like, guttural, like, that's my team scoring reaction from Emily.
That was awesome. Me in the movie theater.
You're, like, watching Challengers and, like...
Not Challengers with my mom. She can't do anything with just the hint of sexual tension. We saw the Fall Guy. It was sweet. See that with your mom, guys. Yeah.
Okay, I think this is enough movie talk. Like, if Dean was here producing, he'd be telling us to shut the fuck up and start talking about soccer again.
He's not here, so...
Let's move on now to Thorns 2, Spirit 1. Are the Thorns back? Sam Coffey had a great goal in this game. Another goal from Sinclair. They look really good.
No, I think the Thorns, it's official. Put it down in writing. They've won 4 in a row. They're back. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the difference between those first 4 games and the last 4 games? Like, this other coach was in their staff. Like, how big of a, like, what, like, was the other guy just, like, a big mope Like, was he just draining everybody of their energy? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. They do seem like a little more defensively stable, but honestly, they're still conceding goals, so like that's not really it. I do think they have a lot more energy, although that's like probably like too simplistic of of a reason that they've turned things around. Probably like Hina Sugita, she's definitely more consistently starting, and I think she does a lot for them in the midfield. She does a lot for them in possession. I think she can find that final pass. She set up Coffee for that goal. So she is someone who I look to, and like maybe she's a difference maker. But yeah, Portland are back. And I love Sam Coffee hitting the Sophia Smith shrug for her celebration. Love that.
That was very fun.
I don't think this. Sorry, go on.
I was about to tee up talking about the Spirit, so
yeah.
I think you were one step ahead of me.
Yeah, no. I don't think the Spirit had a bad game, honestly. Like, I think they did enough probably to get a draw. They just didn't have like the finishing, and I don't know. I think like Sar has been playing over Hatch, and I think that if she's going to continue, like she needs to have a bit more end product. She scored 3 goals, which in a normal NWSL season is probably like good enough, but everyone's like racking up like 7-6 goals out of 8 games. So need to find that somewhere if they're going to be like, challenging for the top, which obviously they want to be. Trinity has been like providing a lot with assists, but she's only had 1 goal. Maybe I'm like, is it too much to ask that maybe she finds a couple more goals? But
she is finding herself in a lot of good positions at the very least,
mm-hmm.
Which for a player like Trinity Rodman that we know is good and we know can score goals is a good sign. But it is like probably a little concerning if you're a Spirit fan that the goals aren't exactly coming right now.
I mean, I guess they are scoring, but it's just like if you're comparing yourself to other teams, like why don't we have a Chewinga, or we'll talk about Barbara Banda in a bit, but
we're going to talk about Barbara Banda right now because the Pride won 1-0 over Racing Louisville. And you want to talk about Barbara Banda, so here we go. Let's do it.
I'm like, I literally have nothing. Like, I don't have a lot to say about this game. Very typical 1-0 probably, but we haven't been able to talk about Barbara Banda since she came on the scene. She's now played in 4 matches, started 3 of them, came off the bench in 1 of them. She scored 4 goals and has had 2 assists. I'm like, Chewinga who? Bia who? Like, this is the MVP. And it's like the clearest argument you could probably make for an MVP, because like without her, very clearly, they're like playoff line. With her, they're at the top of the table.
Yep.
Albeit Kansas City has a game in hand on them, but it's like so clear. And like she can create for herself, she can create for others, like just accelerating with the ball is crazy. She's making her teammates better. Ali Watt is a player who has struggled to make an impact on her previous teams, and I think Banda's like creating a spark in her a little bit, and they're a good pair because Watt can like run for days too. So that's really exciting, and I think it's unfair for everyone who played Orlando before Banda joined, because
I do think it's fun for like league parity that all of a sudden Orlando and Kansas City, teams that were okay and bad last year, are just like dominating processions to start the league. It's very fun, and also just so many new arrivals to the league this year are just tearing it up and lighting the league on fire, which is also very, very fun.
Yeah, if I can crush it. My last note is like, Orlando City fans, I see you in that stadium for this awful Orlando team. Come support the Pride. Like, they're exciting and fun now, so come support them.
Yeah, go watch the Pride. Don't watch Orlando City.
No, like, support them both, but they deserve the audience.
For sure. All right, well, that is all for NWSL this week. We're going to move on to MLS, kind of. We're going to start out with a competition we don't really talk about very much, But the Columbus Crew are going to the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's the Champions Cup, right? I think it was like rebranded this year. The CONCACAF Champions Cup finals. They've beaten 3 Mexican teams to get there, and in very impressive fashion. Matheus, I'm just going to let you talk about how wonderful Wilfred Dancy's team is and how they've done at a continental level.
Yeah, I mean, so 2 weeks ago they won 2-1 at home to Monterrey. That was a really, really nice win. I would say that one was like a win where they were truly in control and stepped it up at home. This week they went away down to Mexico to Monterrey to play them. Went 1-0 down fairly early, but came back, had a goal really late off of them fucking up, playing out the back. Hit it straight to Aiden Morris, who reacted pretty quickly, hit a long shot, tied it 1-1. And the second half, which is one of those situations where, Columbus was defending and on the back foot a little bit, but Monterrey was never, ever, ever going to score. No goal threat. Like the ball would get crossed in to like fumble around the box, and there would never be a shot on target. It's kind of the situation where it kind of felt like, and they kept bringing on attackers. They had Berterame to start the game, but then they brought on Brandon Vasquez, obviously, and one more guy towards the end. But there was not a whole lot of danger, and Columbus all the way through was like really, really clinical. A second goal, Matan feeding in Rossi on a through ball that was really pretty, and then one just to kill off the game in the 88th minute with Jason Russell Rowe, Toronto FC Academy product, but a young guy. With a really nice finish, like everyone's pressing, so like he was like on the halfway line, ran onto it, goalie came out, was in no man's land, and apparently it says the best natural finish on the team, better than Cucho. It was a nice finish. I don't know if I believe that. But now they're in the final, right? And this is a tournament where MLS teams have really struggled for a lot of years. Seattle Sounders were the first team to break through and win a couple years ago. But now they're going to Pachuca. It's a 1-game final away from home at altitude. I think it's on June 1st, and they've had the MLS schedule has been cleared out for them. So they got the games off before and after, I believe. And we'll see if they can do this. I think Monterrey was a more talented team and they beat them. I don't think it was the sexiest win ever. But really good finishing, really clinical finishing. They looked confident, didn't look, scared at all. And it's exciting to see if we can win one. I would say not playing scared. MLS has kind of been waiting for this moment to like start competing regularly for the Champions Cup final. I think their squads have always been not deep enough, and I think just the way that Nancy's elevated the entire squad, right? Got everyone playing, understanding each other's roles so they can fit in the squad correctly. Derek Jones Jr. getting minutes really quickly, MLS veteran. Sean Zawadzki playing center midfield and center back to fill in. Lots of guys can play interchangeably in lots of pieces, creating more depth for them. And I think it's like a really, really nice showcase for the league for like a team to be doing it. Doing it like that's not Seattle, basically. Seattle's the only team that's like consistently gotten, further than most other teams. Nice to have another team to like kind of back up the reputation of the league. So I'm excited.
For sure. It's interesting that because I feel like every single time an MLS team like loses in CONCACAF Champions Cup, it is always like, I think Steve Cherundolo did it after LAFC lost in the final last year. I'm pretty sure Tata Martino did it this year when Miami crashed out of it, where it's just like MLS roster rules. That's why we lost. And it's like, Tata, you have Messi on your team. Like this is a team that's like doing this with like their best player is Cucho Hernandez, which no disrespect to Cucho Hernandez because he is fucking awesome. But he's not Lionel Messi because we're about to talk about Inter Miami in a little bit. And this Miami team's really fucking good. They should have gone further in Champions Cup than they actually did. So, like, blaming roster rules, I don't know if is exactly fair.
It's two things. It's two things. The roster rules, and it's the fact that the Mexican teams are mid-season to begin the competition while we're in, like, coming out of preseason, right? And that kind of flips for Nations League, which we had last year. The Mexican teams, A, being in preseason or just after their end of the season, and B, coming and playing all the games in the U.S., which like fucks them over pretty bad. Yeah. So like the script flips or whatever. But yeah, Inter Miami could have done a little bit better with Lionel Messi. That was tough. I had I had that the video of the Monterrey kids like dancing on top of Messi's shirt in the stadium. I sent that to a few people.
That was pretty funny. But best of luck to Columbus in the final. I think it'd be awesome. I'm just a huge fan of this, just how Wilfred Nancy has gone about with his Columbus team. I think just everything about them has been very fun. They're also just like Columbus as a whole, and the history of the Columbus Crew, where they almost lost the team, and people rallied around to like save them and keep them in Columbus, I think is really fucking awesome. And should be celebrated when they're able to do something really cool like this. They won MLS Cup last year and it was awesome. If they're able to win MLS Cup last year and then now win CONCACAF Champions League, I think it'd be fucking awesome and really great for their fans and for that team. Let's move on now to the actual games that are played this weekend. First of which, Nashville got their shit together. They won 4-1 against Montreal, and I think that they just need to wear black every single game, because when they were in the Johnny Cash kits, they're kind of dope. They're kind of good.
Yeah, this was different from Nashville. They came out in the 3-5-2. They've been playing a 3-5-2 for a few weeks now. I missed it, but that's not what they used to play. They used to be more in a 4-2-3-1 where Hani Mukhtar was like the 10, and they're just kind of like playing kind of a two-striker kind of role, but like it wasn't like the formation they lined up in. Now they got the wing backs going with Schaffelberg and Wheel, and they pressed really high, which I haven't seen from them before like that much. And Montreal, a team that's like learning how to play out of the back, has a new coach in Laurent Courtois, has been playing well, but I think this was a challenge for them, and they got stomped on pretty quickly. Sam Surridge scored one in transition. Walker Zimmerman scored one from a corner. All of a sudden, it's 2-0 down. You're away from home. Heads drop, and didn't really get anything going. Their midfield was pretty stagnant. It wasn't a great performance. And then Nashville, this new formation looks really revitalized. Surridge and Mukhtar look like a really good partnership in that, not so much of them connecting with one another, but they know when one's going, one's dropping. They seem to be able to have that sort of, Mukhtar's not that little, but that sort of big little relationship where they can kind of feed off each other in different ways. And the press is just kind of crazy. Muyo, when he turns it on, is really good. Schaffelberg was eating the right side of the.
One thing I'll say about Schaffelberg,
Go ahead.
because I'm a fan of the player. I think he's really fun. Fuck him, because he ruined a potential Joe Willis assist in this game. Because Joe Willis catches a counter and just like finds a long punch. Schaffelberg's through on goal 1-on-1 and just fucks it up.
That's
right.
That's right.
There was an opportunity for a goalkeeper assist. And I know you're up 4-1. It doesn't really matter. I don't fucking care. Go for the goalkeepers. You have the opportunity to get your goalkeeper on the stat sheet, and you fucked it up, Jacob. What the fuck?
No, man. It was coming from everybody. Mukhtar had another one that hit off the post that was going to be a screamer. That was just after the Zimmerman goal. Zimmerman also had an own goal this game, so he scored at both ends. Credit to him. But one thing that came out after the game is that Bryce Duke was getting interviewed after, and it came out, or I think it was a couple days later, but it came out that DOF for the Montreal, I almost said Montreal Impact, my bad. Olivier Renard was fired by Joey Saputo, the owner, who kind of is a bit of a handsy guy, last Friday. And the team found out before the game.
No, like hands-on in running the team,
Hands-on.
not literally handsy.
I was like, is he known for being
we
a creep?
can't say that for sure.
It's always a possibility.
Always a possibility.
It seems a distinct possibility with scumbag owners like himself. Like he just meddles a lot in the team. I'm surprised that he doesn't meddle as much in Bologna in Serie A, that he also owns. They're flying high, but he gets really involved with the stadium's named after his family. They've owned the club for 30 years, which is kind of like a family business kind of vibe there. And that wasn't sitting well with Wilfred Nancy when he left, right? Forced out. This guy, Olivier Renard, the DOF, I don't know exactly what his reputation is there, but forced out. And then it seems like the team found out before the game. And so when asked if it affected the team in any way, Bryce Duke said no comment. Laurent Courtois was kind of shy about answering it. It seems like that might have been a pretty big factor in like the headspace of the team, right? I mean, it kind of has to be if your DOF suddenly fired a guy that was, I think, Nancy's boss for a while, seems to be working well with Laurent Courtois right now. It doesn't seem like the project is in good graces with the owner, and that's kind of frustrating for a team. So
Yeah, especially when Montreal was, I felt like building something interesting. Like, Laurent Courtois has had a pretty decent start to the season. I like the way that they've been, like, attempting to play. I don't know if they're totally there yet or have the pieces for it. But they've been, like, an interesting team to start the season. And all of a sudden, if they're just going to be, like, hit with turmoil that was brought on by themselves, like, that's a real shame because they've been fun to start the year.
Yeah, after it went 3-0 down, I noticed they did a quadruple sub, which I'd never seen before, and that set off some alarm bells. I'm like, a quadruple sub, dog? That's like something's not right here. So I kept my eye on it after the game, and that's the quotes that came out. It checks out.
Yeah.
Your team's not invested.
That tracks. Let's move on now to when we were looking ahead at games prior to this week. We're like, what's probably the best game of the weekend? What's probably going to be the most competitive game of the weekend? And it's probably going to be the New York Red Bulls, who have had a very good start to the season, playing away to Inter Miami. And at halftime, it was a pretty good game. It was 1-0 Red Bulls. They were winning on the road. Final score 6-2. Holy shit. I started watching this game at halftime. And it was, by the end I was just like cackling because I just like, it's so fun watching Messi just do this shit. Like, he scores a goal, Suarez scores 3, Messi contributed to every single goal they scored. 1 goal, 5 assists is a fucking crazy stat line. That's a new record for MLS, the amount of assists in a game. I think it might be for goal contributions in a game as well, which is fucking nuts. Is it? I think it's Rojas, the like Paraguayan midfielder they brought in. He had a goal and an assist. He had a very good game as well. All of a sudden, Inter Miami is looking very, very deep, and they're just absolutely dunking on teams, and it is so much fun to watch. I'm sorry. It is so fun to watch Messi just be like simply better than every other player on the field. And the reality is he'd be doing this in literally every single league in the world. Like, bar like maybe the Premier League. No, Messi would do this against Sheffield United. You think Messi would play against Sheffield United and have 6 goals and assists? Like, absolutely.
Yes.
It's incredible to watch. It is a lot of fun. As much as I want to be a hater, I just can't because it is just really fun to actually watch. Also, like, the commentary was fun. I forget the name of the commentator, but he was like, before MLS Season Pass started doing like national commentators and just like having like, instead of having like one commentary crew for broadcasts that covered a team, I think it's the guy who was the Red Bulls commentator. I just remember him from like their intro video before last season. And so it's got to be cool for him to like call his team against Miami, but not cool for him to call it 6-2 against his team. But this was very fun to watch as a neutral. And I'm sure it was not fun for Emily, but she didn't even realize that her team was playing Miami, so it wasn't that difficult.
Ignorance is bliss, baby. Like,
100%. Couldn't agree more. Let's move on now to Philadelphia 2, DC 2. Emily, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think DC dropped some points at home. Very easily could have killed that game. There were like some very well constructed goals in that first half from them. They were playing well, and then like, I feel like this is every week. Minutes before halftime, fell asleep for a set piece goal. Why are MLS teams so bad at set piece defending?
I wonder if they hire set piece coaches, because like, that's such a big thing in Europe.
That's a good question.
And I wonder if that's a thing here. I have no idea. Because, like, I know Nicholas Jover's name as the set-piece coach of Arsenal. If the Rapids have a set-piece coach, I have no fucking idea what his name is. And I don't know if it's, like, a really big thing here or not. And if it's not, the first team that gets on that's going to win MLS Cup.
Honestly. Because, no, that is a good question. Because, like, how many, like, people are part of these coaching staffs, compared to, like, Premier League. But that's a good question. That's something to ask or to investigate, because I would like to know.
I just looked real quick. LAFC has one, but
Of
that's
course
all I
they
can
do.
find.
Of course they do.
That
They
tracks.
got money in the bank. But honestly, credit to Philly on that set piece because they were like quick thinking about it. Like, just went quickly, played it down the line to Bedoya. But the way the DC's keeper came off his line to stop it was like he was in slow motion. So I think some like good defending could have stopped that. But DC again could have killed it in the second half, but didn't take their chances. Union equalize off a freaking screamer from this kid Jack McGlynn.
Yep.
I don't know this kid, but
Crazy.
it was crazy. Left foot, like the most precise into like upper 90 that I've seen like this season. Go watch that
There's a
goal.
chance that he starts at the Olympics for the U.S., I think.
Yeah. The rumor was recently that PSV was looking at him. That seems a bit rich for me because the thing about Jack McGlynn is he can't run and he can't defend, but he has that left foot. So it's just kind of like...
I mean, he is probably the best progressor in Philadelphia's midfield.
Yeah, by far.
And so, like, if you want a profile like that, sure. But if you can't run, I feel like it's just hard to make it as a player when you can't run, especially when you're like 20. Like, dude, come on.
He's like getting better, but it's like not ideal.
Getting better running. Yeah.
Hey, he's growing up. He's a growing boy.
I mean, running's not fun, so.
DC's first 2 goals were both assisted by Jared Stroud, who I've been impressed with every single time I've seen DC play this year. He's been very good. I was very confused when St. Louis traded him. I still don't get why they traded him because he's a really quality MLS midfielder. And DC's paying dividends from that. He's been really good.
While we're on the topic of St. Louis midfielders, because we're not covering their games this week, but Marco Royce rumored to be joining. Very early rumors.
Yes,
but
like they haven't even done discovery rights, that fake rule in MLS. But I do think it makes a lot of sense. They have an open TP slot. Roman Berkey was his demon at Dortmund for a long time. I think that'd be pretty fun. I tweeted like places that I think I'd want him to go, and St. Louis is first on the list because they have an open TP slot, and I think it makes sense.
I saw Red Bulls on your list. I saw Red Bulls on your list.
They were second, and I don't know why I put them on my list, but for the vibes, they have an open DP slot. Like I feel like it would work. He and Forsberg were both Bundesliga midfielders for a long time, right? So that works.
It makes sense, except St. Louis runs a lot. Marco Royce probably not running at this point of his career, so he kind of has to be like he has to be there messy. He has to be there like just like floater, but it'd be cool.
And I'm not totally sure if 35-year-old Marco Royce is like a good enough creator to like warrant him not running. I do think that if he comes to MLS, I think he'll be like a good player. He's not going to be like I keep trying to name someone that came like Pirlo that came and like wasn't great. But I do think that an interesting one was the team we talked about earlier, which is Columbus. They do have all 3 DP slots filled, but they can apparently buy Nagby down. So if they like buy Nagby down to a TAM player and then have Marco Royce, that would be very fun. that would be
crazy.
That would be a joy to watch. Also, you get to stay in black and yellow, which I feel like he's just contractually required to do. So like that's also a big part of that, of why I want to see that happen. You're going to see Columbus Crew highlights and think you're watching Dortmund. Let's move on now to NYCFC, the baseball merchants. Lost at home on their fucking baseball field, on one of their 2 baseball fields, to the mighty Colorado Rapids.
We don't have a soccer pitch, but we have 2 baseball fields.
and both, I said the mighty Colorado Rapids, and both of you guys went, oh my god. Oh, he's gonna fucking talk about the Rapids again. Well, guess what? I get a kick out of talking about the Rapids this season because we're fucking good. I'm gonna keep saying it. We're fucking good.
I agree with you. I'm putting it on the record. I agree.
Let's go. I got someone agreeing with me. Matheus, do you still not think the Rapids are good?
They're good. They're good, Mitch. You win. You win.
I fucking win. Let's go. More importantly, the Rapids won this weekend against a team that was on a 5-game win streak going into this game. We're playing away from home in a really tough place to play because, like I reiterate a lot, it's
literally
tough to play on a fucking baseball field. It's really tough to play soccer on a baseball field. Like, that field looks amazingly stupid. Of just like the grass covered infield.
The dirt
horrible.
being part of it.
It's the squareness for me. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
The dirt doesn't really bother me as much as the fact that it's like 80 yards long.
The camera angle's weird. Everything about watching a game that NYC is playing at home.
Being there in the audience,
I have watched a soccer game in a baseball stadium because Union Omaha plays in a baseball stadium in the USL. They're getting their own stadium in a couple of years though, which is very exciting.
Probably before NYCFC
shout out to the Owls. They're playing against SKC in the Open Cup right now. But it's very weird to watch a soccer game in a baseball stadium because there's some seats that are like pretty good and there's some seats that are just like, wow, you may as well watch on TV. Like, what are we doing here? Anyway, about the Rapids, Rafa Navarro started this game off with a fucking brilliant goal. His now second from open play. And let me tell you, if he's doing this, spend the $5 million on him. like if that's the kind of goal that he's able to score, and we start seeing that a little bit more, spend the $5 million on him. But he's been pretty good to where I've said it before, but I do want us to bring him in permanently. I don't know about $5 million, but I would like us to bring him in permanently. And once again, Moïse Bombito was our best player in this match. He's just a fucking superstar. Multiple times, like defending in close situations, defending in places with so much space. He is just always able to do that really effectively, and it's really fun to watch a team with just like a fun, really good defender.
Yeah. So I haven't been watching the Rapids, Mitch, because you watch them every week, and so that relieves me of the responsibility of watching for them. But I saw a Bombito highlight where he slide tackles, wins a corner, blocking a shot, and just gets up and celebrates like crazy. I'm like, that's a real ass defender for a kid who was a center midfielder until not too long ago, right? Now he's playing center back.
Playing all over the place last year. He didn't play all that much last season, but he was playing mostly when I saw him, he was playing fullback, maybe a little bit in defensive midfield. I don't know. But
he's a real deal center back. You were not lying.
100%.
He's really good.
That's like what Gabriel Magalhaes does, who's a fucking sicko for defending. That is Moïse Bombito is a fucking joy. I hope he's a Rapid forever. And it is very important to me now that I run this propaganda campaign until he is in the MLS Team of the Season and Defender of the Year. The Defender of the Year is an award in MLS, so I need him to win it. I need to keep just doing this propaganda campaign, get every single person that has a vote that can see my tweets on Twitter to vote for Moïse Bombito, and get him to win this fucking award. And then the game was capped off with a great Cole Bassett goal at the end of the game. It was a really fucking great away performance from the Rapids. Defended when we needed to. Were effective on the break. Can't ask for something much better other than Cabral being onside and Rosenberry's banger counting, because that would have been sick because it was a dope goal, but Cabral's a fucking idiot. Let's move on to San Jose 3, LAFC 1. Not the result anyone was expecting. This was in Levi's Stadium. The Quakes fans showed out, and so did the Quakes. Matheus, what happened?
Okay, I'll defend the Quakes a little bit here. They won, obviously good. Congratulations to them. They didn't have the best game. I think a lot of the goals that... Okay, let me simplify this. Lloris fucking stinks. Lloris
in my notes, I have in all caps, Lloris sucks.
I wrote Lloris LOL.
It's ugly. I saw a stat today. Granted, sample size matters a lot in goalkeeper stats, but he was pretty far and away. At least there was a gap. The worst XG allowed, yeah, in the league out of all 29 goalkeepers. It's kind of ugly. I kind of feel bad for him because I thought earlier in the season some of the mistakes were just kind of shielding issues or whatever. This one is just like he's not strong enough to jump. He's not big enough. He's not that guy anymore.
Ever.
Yeah, no. So the Bouanga own goal, the Rodriguez goal at the beginning of the game off the corner, real ugly. But other than that, like LAFC did not play a terrible game there. Had a lot of pressure, primarily in the second half. The goal from Charlie Oliveira, that's nice for him. You know, as a young player who has higher expectations when he's been performing at for a while. But
I do want to say the Espinoza assist for 2-0 was fucking crazy.
Yes.
Just an inch perfect pass right into the path, like right on his feet. It was incredible assist. So like San Jose was really good in those transition moments.
Yeah, as dire as the start to the season has been points wise for San Jose, I don't think they've like been played off the pitch in any of their games that I remember.
Yes, they have to go look at their match log. They lost 3-0
against Colorado.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. Let's look at this match log real quick. Is it that bad?
Yes,
a little bit for against Houston or Austin. Okay. Nonetheless, I think Amal Pellegrino settling the squad is going to be really important for them. Bobasi can play a little better. Espinosa can play a little better. They're going to get players on form a little bit. I think Rodriguez is an interesting guy because he can progress the ball from center back really well. Obviously, he scored today or this game. He cannot defend that well. So it's a lot of like, it's kind of a higher wire act right now, I think, for San Jose, but I'm hoping they can settle in and like just barely miss the playoffs instead of be rock bottom of the West for a while.
Yeah, because they have too much talent to be like rock bottom. And granted, they did bring in their like DPs kind of late in the window, so they're still like, they're hypothetically their best players are still like kind of getting in with the team. So like, I'm willing to give them a little bit of slack. It's a long season, but this is a great statement win from San Jose. They beat LAFC 3-1. We have to give them their flowers for this.
Yeah, no, I think so, and I think it's important that they stayed disciplined enough, defensively committed enough to pull it out against a talented team like LAFC. You know, regardless of the roster issues and anything.
Awesome. Well, before we get out of here, I did want to talk about one more thing that I remembered was news today while we were recording. So I did not prep you guys about this at all, but I am just gonna talk it up. The most Sportico announced their like most valuable soccer clubs today. And there are 5 MLS teams within the top 20. Those teams are LAFC, Atlanta United, Inter Miami, LA Galaxy, and NYCFC. And I think that something I want to talk about with this is there's only one team in that list that is a original 96 team, and that's the LA Galaxy. And they are very much helped by the fact that David fucking Beckham played for that team in terms of just like valuation of the LA Galaxy, because they're a well-known team, which a lot of the other 96 can't really say. And, you know, this is a conversation that we kind of had a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the Revs with their like not playing in downtown, not having a soccer stadium. And the fact that there's only one original team, a team that's been around since 1996, I think speaks a lot more to just like, what newer owners are putting in to their teams that they're acquiring, or willing to invest in them. Like NYCFC, they've won a championship, and I guess they're in New York City, so that also helps their like global brand. But like they're not getting their stadium until 2028. And they're owned by City Football Group. It's not like they're strapped for money. But there's like a clear, I think that some of the excitement around a new team helps some of these more expansion teams. Because, you know, you see a team like Charlotte able to fill out a football stadium for games, or Atlanta able to do that. And the Rapids are, at least very much from my perspective as someone who lives in Colorado and is a fan, they're very much an afterthought in the Colorado sports theme. The Colorado sports just atmosphere. And part of that is because they were a 96 team, they're in Commerce City, they're not in downtown Denver, and they become more of an afterthought. And so I really just this is a thing I've talked about before for sure, but it's like it's a little disappointing to see the 96 teams not really have the same like luster to them in their own, like both on a business standpoint, but also just like within their own fan bases and stuff like that.
I think the most damning not like omission from this list is the Chicago Fire. I don't see anywhere on this list in the top 50, while Cincinnati is on here. Toronto is pretty high up. San Jose is on here. Why is San Jose on here? Like, they fucking
Is Colorado in the top 50?
Colorado is not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I think Colorado's same as Chicago Fire in terms of just like not having the same luster to them because they're older teams and are struggling to compete with other teams in their demo.
Mitch, my point was that the market, Chicago, is really big. With all due respect, we've talked about Denver. We've talked about our feelings for Denver. It's not the same.
Okay, I'm happily gonna gatekeep Denver. That's fine.
Gatekeep. Oh my god. I think this is the same on, the women's side as well. I think it's just like the newer, as you saw with Angel City in San Diego and some of the other places, like newer owners, they have all these numbers now. Like we have a bunch of, and we've kind of gotten rid of them, but we've had like Chicago, for example, old owners who didn't have the resources that these other newer owners have, who are coming with, VC money and celebrities and all the resources in the world. So when you're not putting that money into it, like you're not gonna rise up that ladder, even though you've been around for however many years.
And like we can say whatever we want about history and stuff, but you can't undo a first impression. You can't, undo like a packed out stadium for your first game, getting, in Charlotte's case, right, like 70,000 people in their stadium, have that good first impression. It's rocking, and people will want to come back. Like the first initial crowd there, it's like a special moment for everybody. They weren't blessed with that back in the day. It just is what it is. You sat in empty ass NFL stadiums like Gillette, where I haven't been to watch the Revs, even though I've been here in Boston for 3 years. 'Cause it's like hard to get to. It's not exciting. I'm gonna go sit in an empty ass stadium. Same thing for Chicago and Soldier Field as well. Same thing for I don't know, what's another example?
What other team should we trash?
Yeah, well, at least you guys have your own stadium, right? It's like soccer specific.
It is, yeah.
So, I think that helps a lot. But yeah, you can't undo a first impression, and it's a really tough barrier to overcome that. I think the only team that really did it in a lot of style was like the Galaxy, like getting Beckham, right? But like other than that, like you said, all fairly younger teams, with the exception of Sounders, who have been able to do that through just like winning.
Yeah, right? And so I guess one thing that's interesting is that LAFC are even above LA Galaxy. Like a team within their own market is above them, just from being more new, fresh. They're in downtown LA kind of thing.
The Galaxy also had a lot of years of mismanagement from the GM office. I think that hampered them quite a bit. And just like not winning, like you can say all you want, you can get all these players, you can get, what are the players are now during the downturn, like Ashley Cole or whatever, right? But like if you're not winning, it doesn't really matter. And so LAFC, boom, gets that winning culture started. And now the Galaxy are starting to come back this season with Hansel and a lot of optimism, and Will Klein coming over from LAFC as the GM. But nothing beats winning. Nothing beats a winning culture that brings people to the stadium. That kickstarts a cycle, gets the fire going.
I said, look what a rebrand has done for Gotham. Like going from playing at Rutgers, literally up until 2020. And I was just reminded because Lynn Williams scored our 300th goal last week, and so there was a video of like all of the milestone goals. And I was like, I can't believe we're still playing at URSAC during the Mitch Purse era of this team. Like, it's crazy. So as of 2020,
No, I do got to say something about these Sportico numbers. Like,
are they accurate?
They're probably pretty fake.
Would you? LAFC is sandwiched between AC Milan and Inter Milan. You're a billionaire. Are you swapping those teams?
No.
Yeah.
I would
I don't.
100%. I would rather own either of the Milan teams than own LAFC. And that's
You're not selling. You're not selling those jerseys. You're not. You don't have those fans in Asia and Africa and the rest of the world.
For sure. All right. Well, yeah, I think it's an interesting conversation to be had, and I wanted to bring it up. But I think that's all for us this week. Thank you guys as always for joining me covering NWSL and MLS. You guys know what to say.
Go Bats.
Peace.
Apparently, Emily doesn't know what to say.
I don't. Peace.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Plenty.